First impressions are real and very important. People communicate to the world around them by the way they carry themselves, how they do or don't do their hair. Thank God I don't have to worry about hair day. And how they choose to dress themselves. Not only does the clothing that they choose communicate to the people around them, but their clothing choices directly affect the well-being of the planet. I have so many questions about sustainability. Can the world handle this many people? Or do we need to start enforcing population control? Should water be a private business? Are we doomed? Or is there still hope? Thinking about all these things makes my head want to explode. But all of those are debatable. The fact of the matter remains that global warming is a real problem that we face each and every day, like trying to find matching socks. What most people don't realize is that our everyday choices impact global warming, and we can reverse it. Even the color of the jeans that we choose can impact the well-being of the planet. The fast fashion industry is the second dirtiest industry in the world, right after the oil industry. It pumps 10% of the CO2 emissions into our atmosphere and is the second biggest polluter of our precious fresh waters. So every time you have the urge to jump into that bargain bin for a pair of jeans, stop. We have to understand that cheap clothes come at an extremely high cost to the environment. Now, let's have a closer look at the life of a pair of jeans. Jeans are primarily made of cotton. Cotton farming is one of the dirtiest and thirstiest crops on earth. Cotton farming requires 6% of the pesticides and 16% of the insecticides used every year. Imagine all of those chemicals condensed into such a small space. Not only that, to make one pair of jeans requires 7,500 liters of water. That's enough water for a person to drink for 7 years. What if I told you we make 2 billion pairs of jeans every year? That means we use 15 trillion liters of water every year just to make our jeans. Do you know how many people could drink that much water in a year? 20 billion people. Just for reference, there are about 8 billion people on Earth right now. There was a report done by UNESCO in 2023, and they found that 2 billion people, around 26% of the world's population, do not have access to clean water. The UN predicts that by 2050, 57% of the world's population will live in areas that suffer from water scarcity. This water scarcity will affect all of us and will result in the cost of our clothing, especially our cotton-based clothing, to skyrocket. So those jeans will go from the bargain bin to the investment bank. Fortunately, we don't have a water shortage. We have an overproduction crisis, and that we can change. Not only does jean production require huge amounts of water, but the denim dyeing process of the jean production is awful and requires loads of chemicals and water. According to the WWF, not the wrestling organization, I mean the World Wildlife Foundation, the fashion industry is responsible for 20% of the world's wastewater, largely due to the dyeing process. Recent studies have found that the dye usually found in our clothes can cause autoimmune diseases and fertility problems. Other dyes commonly found in our clothes are known carcinogens to both humans and animals. And that is just the tip of the iceberg. Aren't I a breath of fresh air today? But moving on. The gene production process can be broken down into 7 main steps. The first step, they take the cotton from lots of different cotton fields and they mix them together. And then they take that cotton and then they spin it into threads. Then those threads are dyed. Next, the threads are woven together to make the denim. Then the denim is cut and sewn into the jeans. The 6th step, they take those jeans and put them in huge washing machines full of chemicals and rocks, and they literally stonewash our jeans. And the final step is called the finishing process. That we'll discuss a little bit later. But one might be inclined to think that all of these steps happen in the same facility. On the contrary, not only do each of these steps happen in a different facility, they happen in completely different countries. Imagine the amount of fossil fuels consumed and CO2 released into our air just moving these raw materials from one country to another. According to the French Agency for Energy Management, a pair of jeans travels 65,000 kilometers from the cotton field to the store shelf. That's 1.5 times around the earth. If you ask me, when we buy jeans, they need to come with frequent flyer points. So, not only do our jeans travel the world before they reach us, but the energy consumption associated with gene production is astonishing, especially in the final step called the finishing process. And you might be asking, what is that finishing process? Let me explain with a story. The other day, my son and I were at one of the box stores, and this teenager ran up, and she's like, "Daddy, Daddy, look at these jeans, they're so cute." And her father looked at the jeans, and he's like, "Those? They're full of holes. They look like they're going to fall apart." That, my friend, is the finishing process. It's the step that gives the jeans their wholly distressed look. That step alone requires 7.5 billion kilowatts of energy every year. That's as much energy as the whole state of Rhode Island uses in a year. So, you bought the jeans with the frequent flyer points and the high energy bill. Like most people, you'll wear those jeans about 7 times before you cast them aside like an old boyfriend whose jokes just aren't funny anymore. But breakups on jeans are hard. They usually find themselves on beaches, in landfills, and in deserts, where it can take centuries to decompose due to the elastane now found in most jeans. But we can do better. Let's weave a world where both people and the planet look and feel great. Our choices as consumers directly affect the well-being of the earth. We have to be mindful of the health of our earth, because when the planet is healthy, people can be healthy. We need to approach our jean purchases as a marriage, not a fling. You see this jean skirt? I've owned this jean skirt for almost 22 years now. That's more than I've known my own husband. So when I say buying clothes is a commitment, I'm serious. So let me give you some tips on happy jean marriages. So, number 1, your tailor is your best friend. You know, we all have that friend who we vent to about our partner and helps us work through problems and keep our relationship healthy. In other words, our tailor is our jean therapist. Next, choose quality from the get-go. Would you knowingly date a loser? I sure hope not. So why would you buy crappy jeans? Buy quality jeans that will last for years. Commit to wearing them at least 30 times. When it comes to jeans, high body count is a good thing. Thrift as often as possible. Call me old-fashioned, but I love a good hand-me-down. Next, wash your jeans only when needed. This is not an invitation to walk around in stinky clothes. We have to wash them before the BO sets in. But we don't need to wash them every time we wear them. The Levi Strauss Company recommends washing our jeans every 10 wears. And by doing this, you can save water, save time, and save your clothes. But when you do wash your jeans, wash them inside out. This will help preserve the color of our jeans for longer. And air dry when possible. This will help prolong the integrity of the elastane in your jeans and reduce your electric bill. Now, you might be asking, how am I supposed to save the world with a pair of jeans? Have you ever heard of a power couple? When it comes to your jeans, that's your goal. Together, you're going to save the world. And here is how. If every American bought one less pair of jeans every year, it would be like keeping 2,400,000 cars off of the road for an entire year. Now, let's do some math. I promise it'll be fun. So if you take 330 million jeans and multiply that by 33.4, and that's the CO2 emissions per pair of jeans, you get almost 11 billion kilograms of CO2 emissions avoided every year. Divide that by 4,600, which is the amount of CO2 emitted per passenger car per year, and that's where you get the 2,400,000 cars off of the road for a whole year. So as you can see, your jeans matter. Your choices matter. We don't have to wait for businesses to have eco-epiphanies or for new laws. We know we'll all die of old age before either of those happen. Instead, I invite you to commit to your relationship with your jeans. It's simple, yet collectively, it could save the planet. But wait, I have more. We can do more. We can do a lot more by committing to our relationship with all of our clothes. So here are the 4 easy steps to saving the world from your closet. First, your tailor is your best friend. Alter and mend the clothes that you already have. Next, it's a marriage, not a fling. This one is really important, and it's one of my favorite things to do. Shopping my closet. So that means you go into your closet and look for new ways to use the clothes that you already have, because remember, buying clothes is a commitment. Till death do us part. So, the next one is, don't date a sleaze bag. Commit to quality from the get-go. Make sure you choose quality clothes that you can use for years to come. And high body count is a good thing. Thrift as often as possible. Just to kind of wrap things up, we don't need a few of us doing a lot. We need a lot of us doing a little. Because when we all make better daily choices, we can save the world one pair of jeans at a time. So I invite you to join the movement, because when each of us does a tad more, collectively, we can make the world a whole lot better. And that, my friends, is how you save the world with a pair of jeans. Thank you.